Building technology teams, successful technology teams, is quite difficult. And a lot of people, a lot of leaders fail in this endeavor or cannot develop or deliver the results that they need because of the team that is around them. I've worked in technology for a long time, and I've worked with great team members and individuals, and some that have not been so great. The opportunities to have built good, strong teams, and the unfortunate reality of having to have let people go because they're not performing. When you remember that I'm tasked, you're tasked, if you're a manager or you're aspiring to be a manager or a leader or a director, whatever it is in technology, is ultimately for the benefit of the business. If you and your team cannot deliver results to the business, you've got the wrong team, or something's not right, or maybe you're not the right fit for that organization. Could be various things. 5 things that I think you need to have to be an effective leader of teams. What are the things that you need to be looking for when you are hiring people in your technology team? And maybe if you're thinking to yourself, hey, but I'm not even a manager, I don't hire people, what's the big deal? Well, here's a trick. This is actually beneficial for you if you're going to go work for a manager, you're working for somebody else, because these are the qualities that are important. How you doing? My name is Emilio. I love tech. We have a channel here all on technology. Would love it if you also follow along. If you click on the subscription button, everybody tells you to do that on YouTube. Click on the bell as well. Everybody says that as well because it's important, because that way it notifies you when we release new videos, and it also helps the algorithm. We also have, by the way, a whole range of technology courses where we talk about lots of things, from storage, cybersecurity, like we get pretty technical, cybersecurity, VMware, Windows Server stuff. We go into the details of IT management, of leadership, time management, a whole bunch of other stuff that is super helpful and will make you better at technology and a better leader in technology as well. So go and check those out on Udemy. All right, so as I said, 5 points. The first thing, first and foremost, you need to hire people that are technically competent. Seems like a pretty obvious thing. If you are in technology, firstly, you should be a technology person that is competent, right? And always remembering, because this is what I find a lot. I find a lot in lots of companies, people in technology, leaders especially, are not technical, or they're not as technical as they should be. Or there's a CIO or a CTO that is more business, and have lost touch with the technology themselves. And I don't think that's a good thing. I think as a good leader in the technology industry, you need to go back to your original love for technology. You know me, when I started off, man, I loved just opening up computers and tinkering things, and then I would overclock my CPU. And then when I started gaming and I could figure out that I could actually open up certain DLL files or certain files on the, in the folder where the game was installed, and I could tweak it, and then I could I could hack it in a way. I could crack the game and get more lives and more weapons and whatever it is. Super, super cool. And you know what? Over the career that I've had, I've worked with lots of technologies, but I've always purposefully tried to keep myself technical, because I think that's very, very important, especially if you're going to be working with other individuals who are technical. Being able to speak their language and not be somebody who's just a manager and just a manager alone is paramount, very, very important. But the most important thing, of course, is you need to have strong technical people, first and foremost. So when you're doing your interviewing, when you're searching for the right person, if you have a look at the team members that you've got already in the team, can they do the job? Can they do the job? And not just can they do the job, but are they competent enough to do the job today? But as technology changes so quickly, and it is the industry that does change the fastest out of any other industry, is you have to stay up to date, right? So I need a technical person who is very, very strong technically and can ultimately then turn that technology into strong business outcomes. Translate the tech that we are developing into something that actually benefits the business. They must live and breathe technology. Listening to podcasts, watching stuff online, attending events, wanting to get certified in that next thing, right? Very, very important. If they don't have the spark of technology, then you're going to run into sort of problems. Right? So I think it's very, very important to make sure that you are hiring somebody that is very, very technical. Having said that, you know how people say having said that and then it's like the last statement doesn't actually mean anything? No, having said that, first statement is very, very true. But second statement around having a great attitude and learning agility sometimes is better than having all the tech skills and ticking every single box. Because here's the reality, technology skills can be taught. Technology skills can be taught, but curiosity, the ambition, a drive, it's very hard to teach somebody that. So they may not have all the chops in technology, but if they're willing to learn, if they've got a good attitude, if they're curious, if they've got that learning spirit, that's going to go a long way. And those people are very, very hard to find. So I would say even that for you yourself, if you've lost that spark about wanting to learn something new, try to get that back because people love that. And people are more willing to hire somebody. I know I'm willing to hire somebody who they just enjoy learning stuff. They're given a challenge and they will figure out how to fix it. They may not be able to do it all technically, but they'll figure it out. Like here's an example. I remember early on in my career, I was given responsibility. I just started working at a MSP. Previously, I was working in a very, very big Fortune 500 company, and I was a systems administrator doing all the stuff. But you know what I never did? Because you work in a big company, you get very pigeonholed, siloed into your certain thing. So I was all about server. So I was building Windows Server, and I was really into VMware. I never touched storage. And then I remember when I got the role at this MSP, you know what they did? They put me on a client and they said, hey, Emilio, you're now responsible for all the SAN infrastructure. And this is all, this is at the time it was called V&X. So it's like the V&X SAN devices, VNX1, VNX2. Then it slowly became Dell EMC and all of this stuff. And I was then responsible for all of this enterprise grade storage stuff in a data center. And I had no idea. I knew a little bit about RAID and I knew that you needed storage. I knew what SMB was, I knew what NFS was, but man, I had to now learn everything. And you know what? I took up the challenge and I learned it, and I was just excited to learn about this new technology. And obviously the manager that hired me clearly saw that. I didn't have the skills in storage, but hey, I was willing to learn it, and that was a good thing. So having that positive attitude, very, very important. Now, the next one, I think it's going to be imperative for every single technology person right now, but also even more over the next coming years. They must know AI. They must know AI. They must be using AI, living and breathing AI to work faster, to work better, to deliver more. You know, if I'm going to hire somebody who just doesn't use AI as part of their daily workflow, like I've got two people. I've got one person that's a great systems engineer and another person that's a great systems engineer but uses AI as well. I'm going to go for the guy that uses AI because I know that he's going to be able to deliver stuff a lot more. When he gets stuck, he's querying AI. He's figuring out a problem, troubleshooting, learning new stuff using AI, whatever the AI tools are. So I think having somebody who already is just excited about AI is going to be so much better. If I have somebody who is good enough to be able to go and build themselves some AI agents and build apps using Claude, and then deliver stuff in a much better way. If I ask them for a report and they can make it look and shine better rather than just sending me an email or a Word document that's pretty boring, that's what you need. AI people, AI people. Now, this is the next point. Great people attract great people. And they ultimately are going to raise the standard across the entire team. If I hire, for example, I'm a CIO, I go and hire a new person to lead up my IT operations, okay? The IT operations person, I want them to be a great, awesome leader, firstly. I want them to have a certain standard of leading, a certain standard of process, of governance, and they're very technical as well. Because you know what they're then going to do? They're going to go and hire people that are the same. And then if I go hire my cybersecurity manager, and I hire my development manager, and I hire all these people, you know what good, successful people want to do? They want to work with other successful people. They want to work with other people who are also, they're just good, right? So this is something that I find it to be a non-negotiable. If I'm going to hire somebody, I want them to be a fantastic employee, and I want them to then hire fantastic employees. If you've got a dud in your team, get rid of them. I know that sounds absolutely terrible, but unless you can mold them, unless you can develop them, they can get the spark and enjoy what they do, and they're actually good at what they do, they're gonna just bring everything down, right? Think about like you've got a nice beautiful bowl of fruit, and then you grab yourself a rotten banana and you stick it in the fruit bowl, yeah? What's gonna happen to the other fruit? It's all gonna go off. It's all gonna go rotten. It's absolutely devastating to a team. So get yourself great performing team members. Now, this last one is gonna hurt some people. Human beings like to think that they are the center of the universe. They are the best. They are the number one. But you know what I like to do? I like to hire people that are better than me. Hire somebody that is better than you. Hire people that are ultimately capable of replacing you. A lot of people don't like that. You know why? They want to be seen as the hero, as the one that does it all. But you know what? This goes back to the previous point about hiring great people. Hire people that are better than you, that are smarter than you, that are more technical than you, that are better at processes and governance than you. Because those people, you hire a whole team of those people, man, you're gonna have a killer tech team. And if they have the capability to be able to ultimately replace you in the future, fantastic. Like I love that. And yes, don't worry, I get it, yeah? You wanna keep your job. I wanna keep my job as well. But if you are all functioning as a team and you all got great people who are super smart and work great together, that's gonna make you look better as well as a leader. Is there anything else that you also look for when you are hiring a great technology team? Let us know what you think down below. Thanks so much for tuning in. Subscribe, do the like, comment thing as well. Let us know what you thought, and check out some of my other training courses. I've got training courses on lots of stuff on tech in Udemy, on the Udemy platform as well. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video.